Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that affects literally almost every single one of us, the Gen Z struggle. We're going to unpack some really powerful insights from IAS officer Tukaram Mundhe to figure out this wild digital paradox we're living in right now, and more importantly, how we can actually take our minds back. Let's get right into it.
So here's the massive paradox of our modern age. Just picture this for a second. It's 11 p.m., the lights are totally out. And it doesn't matter if you're in a tiny rural village or a huge city like Mumbai or Paris. The scene is exactly the same. You've got young people lying in bed, their faces lit up by that harsh blue glow of a smartphone. On paper, Gen Z is the most connected generation in the history of humanity. I mean, the whole world is literally right there at their fingertips. But they're also reporting the highest levels of loneliness we've ever seen. We're constantly sending emojis, firing off reels, but deep down, there's this quiet, suffocating isolation. So how on earth did we actually get here? Well, Monday points out a really fascinating shift. Think about past generations. Getting information used to be a physical workout. You had to trek to a library, track down a teacher, hunt for a specific book, and then sit there and read for hours. Today, total information abundance. We've got smartphones, Google, ChatGPT, all just sitting in our pockets. But here's the catch. We've essentially traded the hard work of gaining wisdom for the easy convenience of raw information. Monday uses this great term, the VEC. It basically means your conscience, your ability to be discerning, to critically reflect. See, a machine can spit out data in half a millisecond, but no machine can give you Vivek. We've completely lost the art of taking a pause, reflecting, and actually processing the stuff we're consuming all day. And because we've lost that reflection, we end up trapped in the endless digital scroll. Just think about the absolute emotional roller coaster we put ourselves through every single night. You flick your thumb, you see a joke, boom, quick dopamine hit, you laugh, you flick again. Suddenly, it's a terrifying news story about unemployment, and instantly, you're slammed with anxiety. Scroll again. Now you're staring at some influencer stepping out of a luxury car in front of a giant mansion. Boom, jealousy hits. You start thinking, man, what am I doing with my life? Where did I mess up? In literal seconds, the algorithm has completely hijacked your emotional state and planted this really deep, creeping sense of inferiority. Which brings us to a really crucial concept that Mundhe talks about. It's called Nyangand. It's basically a profound inferiority complex. And it comes directly from comparing your real, messy, boring, everyday life to the flawless, heavily curated highlight reels of everybody else on the internet. You're comparing your unedited behind-the-scenes footage to someone else's blockbuster movie trailer. Monday makes the case that this Nyangand is honestly the single biggest psychological threat facing youth and even their parents today. It literally tricks your brain into feeling inadequate, and it breeds depression and this heavy sense of failure before a young person's adult life has even really started. We absolutely have to start pulling back the curtain on this digital mirage. Because as Monday reminds us, behind that one perfect Instagram photo are probably 50, maybe even 100 failed attempts that you are never, ever going to see. We watch a comedian totally nail a punchline in a 30-second clip, right? But we don't see the 200 times they absolutely bombed on stage trying to get that timing right. Social media completely erases the years of grueling, painful struggle, the rejections, the failures. It only broadcasts the polished victory. And since that's all we see, our own totally normal everyday struggles start feeling like these massive, catastrophic failures. Munde's own life actually illustrates this perfectly. Today, everybody looks at him as this highly respected, incredibly successful IAS officer. But look at what it actually took to get there. He failed in 1997, failed again in 1998, tried again in 1999, made it all the way to the interview stage, and still fell short. He spent years living in complete uncertainty, working odd jobs, dealing with delayed exam results in 2003, before he finally broke through and achieved that ultimate UPSC success in 2005. If you only look at his victory lap in 2005 and then look at your own current struggles, of course you're going to feel that nyunganba, that deep inferiority. We always have to remember that true, lasting achievement is built on an absolute mountain of invisible failures. Now let's take a second to set the record straight about Gen Z. You hear older generations constantly complaining that kids today are just lazy, screen addicted, and totally out of touch with reality. Munda completely rejects that narrative. The truth? Gen Z is highly intelligent. They process information at lightning speed. They're incredibly innovative and fiercely hardworking. And yeah, they reject hollow traditional hierarchies. They aren't just going to respect you because of your age or your job title. You actually have to earn it. Plus, they're incredibly brave. They talk openly about mental health and climate change, things that past generations completely swept under the rug. They don't need endless criticism. They just need genuine direction and support to help channel all that incredible energy. But to actually channel that energy, we've got to face the digital trap head-on. So here's the million-dollar question. Are you using your phone, or is your phone using you? Really think about it. These tech companies in Silicon Valley have engineered these algorithms with scary precision. They track what you linger on, what you click, what makes you mad, and before you know it, your feed is just one giant echo chamber. You like one specific thing, that's all you see. Someone disagrees with you, they aren't just a person with a different view anymore, they're the enemy. You aren't even really making choices at that point. The algorithm is literally dictating your worldview, just to spike your dopamine and keep your thumb scrolling. And when you compare this to history, it gets really interesting. During past industrial revolutions, people panicked, right? They thought physical machines were going to steal all the manual labor and repetitive jobs. And they did, but society adapted. The fourth industrial revolution, though, the one driven by AI and algorithms, it is completely different. It's not coming for our physical muscles. It's coming for our independent thought and our intellect. If an algorithm is deciding what you buy, who you vote for, what you're afraid of, and who you should hate, are you really a free thinker anymore? If we don't actively guard our minds, we're risking stepping into a totally new kind of ideological prison. So how do we actually break out of this? Mundhe offers a super simple, highly actionable solution. He calls it the power of the pause. It's 3 steps. Step 1, consciously stop the scroll. You physically have to break the loop. Step 2, take 10 seconds entirely for yourself. And by that, we don't mean napping or fighting with a stranger in the comments. We mean real, quiet, internal reflection. Step 3, ask yourself a grounding question. Just ask, how did I grow as a human today? Did I help somebody out? Did I actually contribute to the real world? Or did I just sit there and consume content for 6 hours? This 10-second pause is exactly how we transition from just mindlessly consuming information to actively cultivating real wisdom. But you want to know the truly shocking part? During a big speech, Mundhe looked out at this massive crowd of students, parents, and officials, and he asked them to raise their hands if, in the past 24 hours, they had taken just 10 seconds to pause and reflect on their personal growth as a human being. Any guesses on how many hands went up? Less than 1%. Not even 1% of a highly educated, motivated crowd had taken 10 seconds to check in with their own conscience. We are moving so incredibly fast, just completely swept away by the digital current, that 99% of us are losing our basic self-awareness. And because we never reflect, we end up chasing all the wrong things. We really need to redefine what success even looks like. Social media shoves this idea of hollow success down our throats. It tells you that if you aren't pulling in a massive salary, driving sports cars, and living in a huge mansion, you're a total failure. It traps people in this exhausting, empty routine just chasing clout. But true success, the kind modeled by people who actually left a mark on history, looks completely different. It's measured by your actual positive contribution to society. It's about having grounded principles and building genuine, real-life human connections. True success is leaving the world a little bit better than you found it, not just dying with the most expensive toys. Mundhe captures this whole dilemma with a really brilliant analogy about a river. He compares 2 things. First, you have a dead log. A dead log has 0 willpower. It just floats blindly down the river. Wherever the current pushes it, it goes. If the waves throw it left, it goes left. If the algorithm pushes anger, it gets angry. But contrast that with a live fish. The live fish is awake, it has vivek. It swims with actual purpose. If it needs to, it can leap straight against the flow of the water. And it's completely aware of its environment without destroying it. Which brings us to the ultimate question you really need to ask yourself today. In this massive, raging digital stream of infinite information, algorithms, and nonstop societal pressure, are you choosing to be a dead log, just passively pushed around by the screen in your hand? Or are you going to be a live fish, taking that crucial pause, reclaiming your independent thought, and swimming with actual purpose? The choice is 100% yours, and it starts the very second you decide to put your phone down. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time as we keep breaking down the ideas that are shaping our world.